I'm Rajalakshmi, Assistant Professor, Bharat Institute of Higher Education and Research, and I am handling the course on Soil and Water Conservation Engineering, and the course code is U18Cswe112. And topic that we are going to discuss is on surveying, that is on compass surveying that we are going to discuss it. And first we have to know what is meant by what are the principles that is involved in this compass survey. So first one is traversing. So traversing means here the series of the connector lines is involved, whether it can be joined or it may not be joined. So there are two types. One is the closed traverse. Second one is the open traverse. So in the case of closed traverse, what they are doing is the series of the lines might be connected and it won't be open. In the case of open traverse, the first point, starting point and the end point, that is after the completion of this process, it won't be connected. And here these surveying lines, which is this is the connector lines, that is measured by using chains. And here what is the direction that they are measuring those measurements, that is also involved. So then we are using the compass in order to check whether whether the lines are whether the land is leveled or not. So here in the case of compass surveying, we don't need a formation of this network of this line. So we just measure the length by using chains or tapes. So this is one is with respect to this compass surveying. Compass surveying, here the chain or the tapes which is used for linear measurement only. And the compass which is used for fixed direction, which means in which direction we are surveying. So in this compass surveying, freely suspended magnetic needle, what they will do is that they will direct it to this north and south direction. And the bearing of the line is obtained by this line of the sight. Okay, and so this is with regards to this compass surveying. Compass surveying means we are using certain chain or the tapes which is used for linear measurements. Okay, and the compass surveying which is used where it is done in the fixed direction only. So here the freely suspended magnetic needle is there. So the freely suspended magnetic needle will be there, and it will records and it will show which direction we are recording those measurements. So which may indicate this north and south direction. So then in case of compass surveying, when we are measuring a large area, the compass surveying must be used. So traversing, that is a type of a survey when it consists of a series of surveying lines and it will form a framework. And this the direction and the length of the survey lines which are measured with the help of an angular measurements, and here the tape which is also used. So okay, and when these lines are formed in circuit, and here the starting and starting points, so before the completion, and whether this end point and the starting point meet at the same point, that is known to be this closed traverse. Okay, and if a circuit which will end at elsewhere, and that is said to be this open traverse. So there are two types of this north and two types of south direction is there. True north is so the direction of this north pole from the observer. So magnetic north means it is a direction which in which there is compass needle which will point towards this magnetic pole. Okay, then there is two types of this bearing. One is magnetic bearing and another one is true bearing. So magnetic bearing means so it is an angle between this magnetic meridian and the line. Okay, and these angles which is also measured in this clockwise direction only. So magnetic bearing, so it is a direction which is shown by these freely suspended magnetic needles. Okay, in the case of compass, which will indicate this direction, that is known to be this magnetic bearing. And the true bearing, which is an angle between this true meridian and the lines, and it is always measured in terms of anti-clockwise direction. So in the case of observing bearing, so observing bearing means a compass which is centered or situated over the station A means with respect to this line AB. and this line AB is already level. And when we are turned these one vertically over this prism and the sighting rings, which will help to rise us or lower the prism. So what happens is, until these graduation rings which are clear, and we can able to see this prism. So after that, what we have to do is, we have to turn this compass box until this ranging rod, which is situated at the station B, which is bisected by this hair, which is present in the case of the prism. Okay, so after that, what we have to do is, we have to turn the compass box above the prism, and we have to record the readings in which this hair is pointed. Okay, so this is how we are record these readings. And there are two types of the system which is commonly used. One is whole circle bearing. Here, what they will do is, they will assume it to be the whole circle. So here the angular reading might be around 0 to 360 degree. In the case of quadratic bearing system, so it will indicate 90 degree. So maximum angle might be 90 degree only. So it will indicate which direction we have measured those. We have measured those angles. Okay, so in this whole circle bearing system, the bearing of a line which is measured with the help of this magnetic north in this clockwise direction only. So this value of this bearing, which will be vary from 0 to 360 degree, and the angle which is removed in this clockwise direction from 0 degree, and it will starts to coincide towards this north. And in case of quadratic bearing system, so in this system, the bearing of a line which is measured in terms of eastwards or westwards from this north or south direction. So whichever is near, we can take those readings. The whole circle bearings, it will be divided into 4 quadrants. That is, from 0 to 90 first quadrant, 90 to 180 second quadrant, 180 to 270, it is a third quadrant, 270 to 360, that is a fourth quadrant. So the bearings which is expressed with the prefix north or south, or with the prefix east or west as a suffix. Okay, and the quadratic bearing system, which is always known to be this reduced bearing. This is because we have reduced these angular value of the bearing from this 0 to 360 to 0 to 91. Okay, and forebearing and the back bearing. Forebearing means every lines which will be have a 2 bearings. One will be observed at each end of this line. So the bearing of this line in this direction of this progress of the survey, which is known to be this forebearing. So forebearing means that is measured during this direction of the survey only. So when we are measuring this bearing opposite to this direction, that is known to be this back bearing. So difference in between the forebearing and the back bearing should be always 180 degree. So what are those errors that is occurs in the case of compass observation? So there may be a chance of error which may occur during this compass observation. One is instrumental error, second one is personal error, and error due to certain external influence. So instrumental error means, so these are all those errors which may occur due to this quality adjustment of these instruments. So this may be due to the following reason. One is due to when the needle is not perfectly straight, okay, and the pivot and the pointed end of this needle that may slightly bend. So this is not at the center of this graduated circle. And third one is sluggish needle. So needle may have the chance to lose this magnetism and the blunt pivot point. And the needle which may neither move or quite horizontally or not moving freely on this pivot due to this dip of this needle. And the plane of the sight, which is not perfectly vertical. So line of the sight not passing through this center of this graduated ring. So these are the reason why these instrumental error which will happen. Second is personal error. Personal error means inaccurate. If you are not centering the compass over the station, there may be slight deflection, okay, and inaccurate leveling of this compass box when this instrument is perfectly set. Okay, so even though you are properly setting this instrument, if you have not done this leveling properly, means that may be resulting in this personal error. So imperfect bisection of this ranging rod at the station or other objects. So Fourth reason may be due to this carelessness in the readings of this needle in these readings of this graduated circle through the prism, which may be directed towards the wrong direction, and the carelessness in recording these observed. Okay, and there may be slight variation due to this natural error. Natural error means this may be due to the following reason, that variation in declination and local attraction. There may be a certain seal structure may also present. What happens is the magnet starts to deflect in this certain direction, and the magnetic changes in the atmosphere may be due to this clouds and the storms, and irregular variation due to this magnetic storms, etc. Or this may be due to the certain earthquakes or sunspots or any lunar perturbation. And so what we have to do is we have to find this quadrilateral bearing system from this whole circle bearing system. So what they have indicated is they have shown that, so it must be rise in these north. So first one is, this is not a problem. This is the example that will shows that how you have to mention some prefix and suffix in the case of this whole circle and the quadrilateral bearing system. First one is with respect to this north. You can able to see this. This is lies in the first quadrant, that is north, and with respect to the east. So they have mentioned this prefix and suffixes north and east. Okay, and so we have to calculate this whole circle bearing system from quadrilateral bearing system. So they have given this angle is a 50 degree. So how you have to mention this? So this one is north and this is a south. So you have to mention this is a south, and so from this direction it is known to be the east. So this is known to be this. So this is how you have to find this quadrilateral bearing system. So in the case, what they will do is they will give this whole circle. So whole circle bearing system. So around 90 plus here 40. So 130 degrees. So they will what they will do is they will give this angle as a 130 degree, and what you have to do is you have to subtract this one, and so as they have told that this has to be measured in terms of anti-clockwise direction. So with respect to this anti-clockwise direction, so here it might be 40. So 40 minus 90, it will give 50. So 50 degree, and so you have to indicate this direction also. So and it might be right in the third quadrant, and so we have to mention this as a south and the west. Okay, and so similarly, so this is the way how you have to represent this whole circle bearing system to quadrilateral bearing system. Okay, and so certain things you have to know. So next is we have to find this whole circle bearing from this quadrilateral bearing system. So what they have given is the whole circle bearing, which is around 250 15 degree they have given. So what we have to do is, so first one we have to find so in which direction it is lying. So with respect to north and east, it will be lying. Okay. So what we have to do is, so which is in first quadrant, so it must be represented with the prefix of n and suffix of e and the degree which is 15 degree. And second thing is they have given this whole circle bearing and we have to convert it to this quadrilateral bearing system. So we have to convert this one. So what we have to do is, so which is lies in between this south and east direction. So they have mentioned this prefix s and suffix e. Okay, and they have given this total angular measurement as 180 degree. So this one is around 180 degree, or else we can mention this direction. This one is around 90 degree. So to this 90 degree, so okay, this one we have to subtract 90 degree here. So if we subtract this one, we can able to get around 64 degree 15 minutes. So if we subtract 90 degree from 64 degree 15 minutes, we can able to get an angular measurement of 25 degree and 40 minutes and with respect to this east. So similarly, we have to find. So this is the way how you have to find this quadrature bearing system. And they have mentioned here is at around 270 degree. So the whole circle bearing is 270 degree. It is lies in the third quadrant. So you have to take the total values around 270 degree. And if you have to mention from this one is around south and to this west. Okay, and this one, if you subtract this 270 degree, or else you can subtract it from 180 degree, you can able to get 45 degree and 30 minutes with respect to the south and west. Similarly, you can able to calculate this, you can able to find out those values for this whole circle bearing from this quadrature bearing system. This one is same, and they have mentioned this as this one is a wet and this one is a north. Okay, so similarly you can able to find it out. So okay, and so by the way, they have given certain readings around. So for bearing of this line, which will be around 30 degree 15 minutes, and you have to find out this back bearing. So for bearing, you can know this. This one is the total angle, which will be around. This one, which will be around 180 degree. So if you subtract 180 degree from this, you can able to get this back bearing of another line, which will be around 38 degree 15 minutes. Similarly, by the way, you have to calculate it for this one also. So this is with regards to this, how to calculate this whole bearing from this back bearing. And second thing is, you have to calculate, so where we have to do this compass survey. So whenever we are doing the surveying for a very large area, you can go for this compass surveying. Or if there is any interruption like river or any coastal lines to be surveyed, you can use these types of this survey. Or if the area which might be crowded with many details such as many details like valley or certain things where you cannot do this triangulation methods, you can use these types of this surveying method. Okay, and compass surveying is not recommended whether there might be have area of local attraction such as or due to the presence of any magnetic substances such as steel structures, iron ores, etc. So instrument that may be used in the compass surveying such as prismatic compass, chain, arrows, and ranging rods. So prismatic compass, so this is the one. So this is used for leveling. It will shows whether your surface is properly level or not. Prismatic, compass, and it will for the compass, and it will shows indicates this direction of this line. Okay. So it will shows this magnetic north and magnetic south. And there are one of two kinds of this magnetic compass which is used in this collection of this measuring this magnetic bearing. And the graduation on this prismatic compass are situated on the line of aluminum rings which is constant to this needle, and at the zero of graduations which will coincide to this point of needles. So the graduation therefore which will remain in the stationary with the needles, and the index turns the sliding vanes. Since the circle is read as the observer, so rather than this targets end and this graduations. So initial adjustment you can do is centering. So centering means you have to do the point on the ground similarly on this paper. Okay, the approximate center of this plot which is located, the compass which is exactly centered over this station, which is say as O for this number. In this leveling, making this compass needle horizontal by adjusting this ball and socket arrangement. So compass surveying, but you can do two types of this method by using this compass surveying. One is radiation method and another one is intersection method. So first you have to plot this center which will be located exactly center over this station by using this plumb bob. So first you have to locate the same thing on the paper. So this one is known to be this O. So by using this ball and socket arrangement, you can say whether this one is level or not. And rising of the sliding vanes and the prism of this compass. So compass box is rotated, until the ranging rod at the first station A, so which lies in the hairlines of this object vein, and the stilt of this veins which will be lies in the same line. So note down the bearing QA which will be in the field book one. So after that, what we have to do is in the similar way we have to take the bearing OB, OC, and OD by rotating the compass in this respective direction. So after these readings will indicate this angle which lies in the line of OA, OB, OC, OT, and OE, which makes the north line. Okay, so measure the distance OA, OB, OC, and similarly up to OE on the ground. So after knowing these observed bearings, the distance to the all station from this center point O and the plane plot can be easily drawn by adopting this suitable scale. So join the station points A, B, C, D, E, and which will indicate this plan of the point. So from this area enclosed by the plot, we can this may be calculated by splitting the plane into this number of triangles. And by using this intercept, so in this, what we have to do is we have to mark the centered point by using this plumb bob. So after that, we have to, by using this vein arrangement, we have to just locate the similar point on this paper itself. So similarly, up from A to E, we have to mark this on the paper. So after that, we have to join these lines. Similarly, on this ground, we have to measure this measurements. That's a linear measurement, which is from OA up to OE. So after this measurement, we can be able to mark it on the paper, or by using this suitable scale, we can convert it. So after finding out these areas, what we have to do is we can convert it the normal area by using this scalar methods. Okay. And by using this radiation method, what we have to do is we have to join the points A, D, E, C, which indicates on the plan of the plot. So from this area which is enclosed by the plot, which will be splitted into this number of triangles. So after, by using this intersection method, so that's a simple chain. So in this, we have to mark the 2 points, which is at the distance of 10 to 15 meters from this station. So around this boundary plot, this can be seen. So name the point P and the Q, which is on the either side of this polygon. So set the compass, which is over the point P, and we have to do some certain temporary adjustment, namely centering and this level. So after that, we can observe the bearings to this all station points, which is located in the clockwise direction. So we have to take this core bearing of this line PQ and shift the compass to this either station Q, and we have to complete this necessary or temporary arrangement. So we have to rotate the compass box to the other station points and note down all the observed bearings carefully, and we have to measure this baseline distance. So with this observed data and the plot this observed bearing which is taken at the point P and project this corresponding dates. We have to mark the point Q by taking it the suitable scale, then draw the rays from Q to this all station points. So thereby intersection of this ray PA and QA, which will give the location of the station A. Similarly, location at the other station B, C, D, E, which will be located on the paper. Thereby, the area can be divided into the number of the triangles. Then we can calculate the area. Area can be easily calculated. And then by using this plane table surveying, so here, so in the case of compass surveying, we are doing certain triangulation methods by adopting this radiation technique. So in the case of plane table surveying, we can adopt this parallelism method. So rays which can be drawn from the station to the objects on this paper, or which will be parallel to this lines from this station, which will be adopted on this ground. The relative position of this object on the ground are represented by plotted positions on the paper, and which will be lies in this respective rays paper. So what are all those accessories which will be used is plane table, tally date, and the split level, and trough compass, and U-fork pumped up. So this is a plane table one. Plane table, this is a drawing board which will be adapted to the size of 750 mm to 650 mm, and it will be made up of a well-seasoned wood like teak, pine, etc. and the top surface of the table which is properly leveled, and the bottom surface which will be consist of a threaded circular plate fixing on the table on this tripod stand by a wing net. So this table which is used for fixing these drawing sheets over it, and the position of this object which are located on the sheet by drawing the rays and adopting the suitable scale. So this one is the alley tape. So this one is the eye vein. So this is known to be the eye vein. This is because you are looking through your eye by using this eye vein. So this is the object vein. So here the hair-like structure will be there, and whether this one has to intersect this ranging rod or the desired structures, okay, to be measured. And it will be consist of a metal or a wooden ruler which will be adapted to the length of 50 centimeter, and one of the edges is bevel which is known to be the fiducial edge, and two veins which is at the both end which are hinged with the ruler. So one is known to be the object vein and carries a horse hair, and the other is called sight vein which will be provided with a narrow slit. So this is a split level. So this can indicate this one. So by using this you can able to level. So if the bubble which is at the centered position, this will show that your table is properly leveled or your surface is properly leveled. And if it is improperly leveled, the bubbles might move in any direction, which is north or south direction. So where this undulation is there, it will goes to this that line. Okay. Sprit level, which is a small metal tube which will consist of this bubble of the sprit. So bubbles which is visible on this top by using this along this graduated tube. The sprit level is primarily mean for leveling one. And trough compass, this is a wooden box with these graduations are placed. Here it is a magnetic needle and it will be pivoted. Rough compass, this is a rectangular box which will be made up of non-magnetic metals, and it will be containing a magnetic needle which is pivoted at the center. It will consist of O marks at the both end, and these O marks which will indicate this north and south direction. And after that, U fork with the plumb bob. So U fork, which is a metal strip and it is bent in the shape of U, which is having an equal arm length, and the top arm is pivoted and the bottom arm carrying a hook with the suspended plumbs. So as you can able to see this one, this is a U fork with the plumb bob arrangement. This is having this both end. This will be at the so this is having this similar length, and so at this so this is having a contact with the paper or table. So and this other end which is having this plumb bob arrangement. This is known to be the plumbing fork. So the upper arm which is having a contact with the paper or table, and the lower arm which is having a contact with this plumb box. So after confirming the station, we have to fix the station over this station A, and then we have to clamp the table. And we have to fix this drawing table on the sheets, drawing paper on this table. So with the use of this split level, we have to level the table by adjusting the leg. And this process is known to be this leveling. And with the use of this plumbing fork and the plumbing bob, transfer this ground point A to this drawing sheet, which is indicated as a small a. And this adjustment, this is called centering. And these two adjustments are to be done at the each setting before this sighting of this object. So we can see this radiation intersection method, and that we have already seen this radiation intersection and traversing method. So this is known to be this radiation. We know this intersection, that's how they are intersecting this. And the last one is the traversing. What they have to do is, so at the end, this one is known to be the A. And so by using this linear measurement or by adopting the suitable scale, we can able to mark the point B. So after going to this point B, we have know this it is exactly lies in this 90 degree. By using this sighting the object, we can able to, by adopting this suitable scale, we can mark the C on this paper. And you have to check whether this one is a right angle to each other or not. So after this, we have to mark the point similarly D on this paper. So this is the way how you can able to do this traversing method. So first we have to discuss about, so as a plane table surveying, first is the radiation method. So in this radiation method, so what are the procedures that is adopted that we have discussed. So similarly in this traversing method, so how they are doing this traversing that we can see here. Okay. So after this intersection method, so we are drawing two lines with this intersecting at this point. So this is known to be this P and the Q. So by adopting these techniques, we can able to calculate this area of this method. So what are all those which is used? What are those components which is used for this technique is, one is split level, and second is plumb bob, and split level, plumb bob, and table, and the drawing sheets, and sighting vanes, and compass. So this is all the equipments needed. So compass that will indicates the direction. So that will indicates north and south direction. So this is known to be this magnetic north and magnetic south. So thereafter we can able to calculate this east and so we can able to mark east and west position. So thereafter, we know about this whole circle bearing system and quadrantal bearing system. So in this whole circle bearing system, the angle which will be around 0 to 360 degree, and the quadrantal bearing system which will be around 0 to 90 degree. So so in the quadrantal bearing system, so it will be divided into the four quadrants, that is 0 to 90 and 90 to 180. So 180 to 270 and 270 to 360 degree. So in this quadrantal bearing system, how we have to mention is, we have to indicate first in the prefix, we have to indicate whether this is lies in this north or south. And in the prefix, suffix, we have to indicate whether this is lies in the east or west. So this is with respect to this whole circle bearing and the quadrantal bearing system. So and then four bearing. So which is four bearing means this is the one which is bearing which is measured in the direction of this surveying which is performed. Okay, and if it is in the opposite direction, that is known to be this back bearing. So these are all the points that we have discussed. And thank you for your cooperation. Thank you.